I have never straddled the publishing world like a colossus, but I have published books. I have a name, known by some, and of wispy, vague familiarity to others. It is better than nothing. Well, a little over a decade ago, I was informed of the existence of a man who had always wanted to be a writer and had spent his life with no success, not even a short story sale. I honestly don't know whether he was the kind of failed author who wrote incessantly and never made a sale, or the kind who simply talked about the books he would write if only someone would give him a chance. Both types exist. And I have infinitely more respect for the former. This guy heard of me via a string of connections that began at the office where my wife worked, and via a game of telephone eventually made its way to whatever sinecure this fellow occupied. Somebody knew Judy, who knew someone who multiple chain links later knew him. The chain was sufficiently long that Judy didn't know where it ended up either. Whatever the mechanism happened to be, updates of my regular small successes began being supplied to him. For years on end. You know that guy, Adam Troy Castro? He just sold another novel. Another short story, got nominated for another award. Yeah, that same guy I told you about last time. Why are you having so much trouble? People kept saying this to him. Honestly, I had nothing to do with this. I contributed to it in no way but existing. But I became the bane of his life. Without knowing it, I began to fuel an obsession. This guy began to hate the sound of my name. He began to rant about me, calling me a prime example of everything that was wrong with the publishing industry. He was, after all, every bit as good as me. Whether or not he actually was, you understand. But nobody would give him a chance. He didn't have the inside track that I had. He didn't have the membership card to the conspiracy. I am told that he became a bore on the subject. He would rant about me anytime books were mentioned. I don't know whether he ever read any work of mine and had any legitimate critical issues with my work. I only know that whatever evils he perceived in the New York publishing conspiracy had me as its symbolic face. Not Neil Gaiman, not George R. R. Martin, not J.K. Rowling, not Stephen King, not Lee Child, not Michael Connelly, not Lawrence Block, not Charlene Harris, not John Scalzi. Not anybody with a movie development deal. Me, I was the spearhead of the conspiracy. I need to tell you that I have experienced this phenomenon directly here on Facebook. Folks who posted their stories on their shitty websites or as unedited ebooks without first achieving professional skill, who had learned to bypass gatekeepers but had not become good enough that this was a choice and not a necessity, who thought I, barely hanging on, was the face of everything evil about the tyrannical publishing industry. I was one of the insiders, they would say. Sometimes directly to me, they would say this, and always with scorn. Yeah, no shortage of those guys. But I did not know of this particular guy, whose resentment of me blossomed to spittle-flecked hate. He railed about me over lunch to coworkers who no doubt rolled their eyes and muttered, "Oh God, Adam Troy Castro again." This happened. And some of the people he ranted to knew how to reach Judy, and through her to reach me. But they did the sensible thing and never once mentioned him until he keeled over dead. I only found out about him shortly after he died of a stress-related illness at age 50. This man died blaming me, the guy who had no special power and had received no special advantage. The borderline, arguably passable success. Me! It's to laugh, if it were not a tragedy. This is a fable of just how much good ranting about someone else's special connections, supposedly possesses, can do for you. It doesn't help. Not at all.